Today we have a treat. We have some Cote de Veau, which is the ribeye of roast veal, and some dry morels. We're simply going to sear this and make a jus. So first, we soak the morels to soften them and to make a dashi. Very simple, we rinse them just to get rid of the dusts. And we simply cover them with just enough water. Morels, they actually soften quite quickly, so half an hour maximum, usually less. And because we're going to cook the morels with the veal, even if you have a tiny bit of tough bits, it's okay. So set this aside. Veal is such a tender joint that it's hard to mess up. The only reason why this warrants its own video is I want to talk about the cooking time. In my extremely humble opinion, many people undercook them, including restaurants. And that's understandable, it's a very costly cut and you don't want to ruin it. But trust me, in terms of tenderness, you have to try to ruin it, because I've tried by making skewers and roasting them high in the oven. Yes, that at 200 degrees, that will dry. But veal by definition will always remain tender. What I try to solve for and what I like in veal is the collagen. And it's full of collagen. You need to give it time and temperature to break down into mouth-coating gelatine. Medium rare at 54, that's not enough. 61 degrees Celsius that most sous vide recipes call for, that's not enough. For me, I like to bring this to 70, which is, in my opinion, the sweet spot for Cote de Veau. It sounds scary, but give it a try. You'll really see the difference with the fat and with the collagen that's around the bone. So, with that in mind, let's cook some veal. Very simple. We season generously with salt. About 0.6% to the total weight, if you want to be precise. In the most ideal world, you want to salt it the night before. Leave this in the fridge uncovered for the salt to really penetrate. Generous amount of black pepper. And now we can sear. Medium heat, because I want to really give this time. Once the pan is hot, we add some olive oil. Once the oil is slightly shimmering, the veal goes in. You might have noticed we're not using a non-stick, precisely because, given the long cooking time, I don't mind a bit of sticking, a bit of burnt bits at the bottom, because that's flavor, and we're gonna mop them up with our mushroom dashi. So we press gently to maximize the surface area that's in contact with the hot pan, giving us the Maillard reaction. Protein at high heat, that's what's gonna make the veal meaty. And veal by definition is not a flavoursome joint, it's a tender joint. So we're doing all we can to give it flavour, to make it meaty. And because, like I said, we're bringing this to 70 degrees Celsius, time is on our side. There's no need to stress, no need to worry that it's sticking. While that's happening, we're gonna slice a tiny bit of onion just to add some sweetness later, a bit less than a half. Sage butter is also a very popular choice for this dish, but no matter the recipe, bring it to 70. Try this once, trust me. Perfect. All right, judging from the color of the oil, I know this side is golden. So we lift and we turn. Look at that color, that's flavor. And once again, we press to maximize the surface area. As you can see, it's been, what, less than 5 minutes? You already have a dashi out of it, and they've semi-softened. Now, we check on the other side. I want it golden brown. Perfect. Now we cook the sides. Of course, you can help the other side get started. Now, once everything is almost golden brown, we take this out to rest, just briefly, so that we can skim off some of the excess fat. You can always add them back in, so don't worry too much. Once we just have one thin layer that coats the pan, the onions go in to impart some sweetness and complexity. And to help them get started, a bit of salt to help them release the water content, to concentrate their flavors. And the moisture from the onion would start the process of the deglassing of the pan, the burn bits, the fond, mopping up all these beautiful flavors. While that's happening, we trim our morels. Pair of scissors. I mean, this is optional, just to make them look prettier. We squeeze out all the liquid and we trim off this bit. and morel straight in, just to get a tiny bit of color and to concentrate their flavors a bit. I mean, yes, they're very delicate, but whatever goes into this liquid will eat. Oh, the smell. The smell is incredible at this point. All right, once there's not much steam coming out, you know that we've evaporated most of the water content from the morels and from the onions. So now we start to introduce a bit of dashi, morel dashi that is, to deglass the pan, to mop up the flavors as promised, just enough so that you can still see the bottom of the pan and you can scrape everything. Perfect. Now, once the pan is clean, push everything aside to the cooler edges and we re-invite this beauty back in. You want the bone side to be lower so it will be submerged in liquid. So we cook the bone a bit as well. And now we add the rest of our dashi. Of course, we don't add the dusty bit. Bring this back to medium heat. Look at how the bone is submerged. We're not going to get flavors from the bone. I mean, that's because of the short cooking time. But I also don't like a piece of raw bone on my plate when I'm eating. And we let the bottom half simmer while we baste and give flavor to the surface of the top half. I mean, this is labor intensive, but hey, the cut deserves it. Especially the bone. Really, really basted. Oh, so beautiful. You can throw in some herb to go with the morels. Thyme would be amazing. So, how do we know whether it's reached the desired doneness? Well, you probe it. There's literally no better way than probing. And you want the bit that's close to the bone to get to 70. So, we have a bit of time to go. And the low and slow cooking time would really allow the connective tissues, the collagen, to break down into gelatine and even slightly thicken the cooking jus. It's not going to be gravy-like, but it'll be sticky to the lips. Oh, look at this beauty. By the way, if you're cooking more than one joint and you don't want to mother it like this, put it in the oven, 160, and just probe it frequently. Taste. Oh, it's beautiful. Probe. Once you're around 64, 65, we know the resting would even out the cooking and bring it to 70. So at this point, stove off, and we let it rest in its own cooking liquid for about 10 minutes. All right, after 10 minutes, we can carve this beauty on plate. Cut off the trussing string. By the way, keep the trussing string on during cooking. It will hold it in shape because it's so tender. Otherwise, it would collapse. Take this carefully off the bone, which is a very, very tasty piece in its own right. Simply carve. Look at this beautifully rendered piece of collagen. It would have been unedible at medium rare, but you can see it's perfectly juicy, perfectly moist. Let's plate one, shall we? Beautiful piece of morel. Beautiful fillet, morel, veal, morel, veal. This is the chef's portion, of course. And now, a bit of onions on one side, onion on the other side. And this gelatinous jus that's slightly staining the spoon. Not yet coating it, but that's what the gelatine does. Add this spoon, this beautiful jus on top. One more morel for garnish. Yeah. And just to give it a bit of brightness, we add some micro coriander. Completely optional, of course. Chives also works really well with morels and veal because it's subtle. The brightness is subtle. Last but not least, edible flour. And that's it. Mouth coating gelatinous, earthy, still tender. This is Cote de Veau with Morel Jus. I really hope you enjoy.